Hi everyone, exciting news. I was able to complete my wine bottle challenge. So this won't be the first one, but today I started a challenge for myself where I had to nail down a solve from start to finish during the course of drinking a bottle of wine. I got a little bit left over, so you know, I've got some to spare for once I finish this video. And Hooli caught me earlier, caught me slipping. She's like, "You already started." And I was, you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. So, shout out to Hooli for calling me on my shit, but I really put a lot of effort into these. So I needed some juice to help me get creative. So what I'm going to do is kind of walk you guys through from start to finish how I did it and give you the visuals. Obviously, this took me a lot longer and I've had to prepare and sequence everything because otherwise it'd just be a spider web of craziness as I'm following clues. So I'll do a screen share and record that and walk you guys through it. Hopefully you find it interesting and enjoy it and it helps you with your solve. But hopefully I'll be able to go boots on the ground come springtime and this will be one of the places I check out. This entire theory is going to be wrapped around the text of the book. Slight touch on the treasure map, but I landed at all of this just from the text. I think sometimes the map can be too distracting and should be confirming theories rather than the place I start to create them. So, highlights in the chapter. Starting at Springer Mountain, we already know on the book it says begin here, and then there's a dog, which appears to be a Springer Spaniel. I'm just going to say, let's take it at face value for that, because I think there's other things hinted in that image. So, starting at Springer Mountain, into Bald Hills, Blue Mountains, mossy jungle-like forest, and into the rugged landscape of the White Mountains. We do know that the Appalachian Trail goes all the way to Mount Katahdin in Maine. And why is it saying the rugged landscape of the White Mountains, which end in Vermont? So, the person who originally theorized the Appalachian Trail, his name was Benton McKay. The trail that he envisioned, the original start was in Mount Oglethorpe, Georgia, and had branch trails as far south as Alabama. And then Mount Washington in Vermont was the northern terminus, and again had branch trails that went up to Katahdin and then into Canada. So I think the point he's trying to make here is it's starting at Springer Mountain and we're ending at the White Mountains to kind of narrow it down. Another prominent feature of the text is how many times he mentions the word blue. That was, one of the first very obvious clues. But now that I read the chapter over and over and over, it seems even less prominent to me. But I still think that it's important. I also caught on to the sentences where it says, I took in the smell of dogwoods, rhododendrons, mountain laurel, while serenaded by the sounds of slight breezes, squirring squirrels, birds, crickets, and cicadas rubbing their wings. Those are going to come into play in just a minute. The next page of text, it talks about blue a lot more. Still don't have a clue on the coin. But we talked about Benton McKay, and we talked about him being the originator for the Appalachian Trail. We talked about the Appalachian Trail having a chute that went all the way south into Alabama. That Alabama Trail is now known as the Pinhoti Trail, Pinhoti. There is also a Benton McKay Trail that is in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, along with a Unicoi Trail, which is in Georgia, North Carolina, all in the same place. So they're all woven in together. However, the Pinhoti Trail is what is the furthest south. It connects to the Benton McKay Trail, which connects to the Appalachian Trail. The Unicoi Mountain Trail connects with the John Muir National Recreation Trail, which connects with the Benton McKay Trail. And that is what makes up the Trail of Tears, or at least part of it, the part that was in western North Carolina. What is the Trail of Tears? Andrew Jackson, the president, signed an Indian Removal Act in 1830 that basically the 5 nations that were east of the Mississippi sold their land and were to move to the west of the Mississippi. But not all of them left. In fact, a majority of them just stayed. So the Trail of Tears was the path that the natives were forced to take in order to go to their new land. What does all of this have to do with treasure? At the start of the chapter, there's a poem by Robert Motherwell. It says, "Walk on a rainbow trail, walk on a trail of song, and all about you will be beauty. There is a way out of every dark mist over a rainbow trail." This poem is attributed to Robert Motherwell here, and it is widely attributed to him on the internet. However, this is a Native American proverb that has been appropriated and attributed to Robert Motherwell, much like the lands that were taken away from the Native Americans. In addition to this, we have Great Smoky Mountain National Park, and we have Cherokee National Forest. Great Smoky Mountain National Park is smack dab in the middle and cuts in half Cherokee National Forest. So you've got the northern part of Cherokee National Forest and the southern part of Cherokee National Forest. The southern part of Cherokee National Forest is where all those trails are that I mentioned. And there's way more than that. If you look at a map of trails in that area, it's just riddled with trails. So let's talk about the poem, "Walk on a Rainbow Trail, Walk on a Trail of Song." There are many, many songs written about the Trail of Tears and go by the name of the Trail of Tears. One I'm particularly attached to is by John Denver. So look that up if you get a chance. I don't think there's any clues in it, but it does paint a pretty good picture for you. Looking into the Trail of Tears and trying to map the Trail of Tears with the Benton McKay Trail, with the Penaudi Trail, with the Appalachian Trail. And I cannot find an app that says, yes, I want to save this trail. No, make this one disappear. It's really frustrating for me. So if you've got a good mapping source where I can create some custom maps, I would love to do that to show everybody how everything links up. If you want to think of this northeast corner of Alabama as where the Penaudi Trail starts, it goes over into this area of Georgia, which is around Dalton. And then in Dalton, it picks up the Benton McKay Trail that tracks over here into North Carolina and picks up the Appalachian Trail. Then you've got the Unicoi Trail running about this line that goes right into Murphy. So when you get a chance, check out the map, look up those trails. There is a bigger map of the Trail of Tears, and as you can see, it was no small thing. This is another close-up of the section that we're really going to be looking at. In the beginning of the book, Jon Collins-Black says that he had fairly close access to the trail as a child. Here on the right, you can see Statesville. We know that Jon Collins-Black grew up there. In the middle, this dot is covering what is Asheville. And then to the left is the area that I would like to explore, boots on the ground, if I can get it together. It's kind of the convergence of the Benton McKay Trail and the Appalachian Trail. The Unicoi Trail is not far. So all of the areas that were related to the Trail of Tears. And as I was following along the Appalachian Trail, you can see that here, I started seeing a lot of Cherokee words. And the first one I saw was, I'm sure I'm going to absolutely murder this, but Wachewa, bald, which, you know, we have the bald man in the picture, but Wachewa means grasshopper. So I started following this Wachewa bald trail, and we get to Locust Lick Log Gap. Really great name. However, cicadas are locust, so that could be related. We keep following the map and we come to following. It ends in Santila Lake. Now, I was really excited for this Chioa point. Again, I'm sure I murdered that. But Chioa means otter, which is not on our bingo card, unfortunately. But Santila means blue water. So you've got that word blue, which we've talked about. Blue being trails off the Appalachian Trail, blue being the color of the box, blue being Blue Ridge Mountains. So I started looking around Santila Lake. They've got a campground. Cool. I'll chill there. No problem. And I started seeing a lot of other names that were in Cherokee that I could look up. Well, that one's not in Cherokee, but there's squirrels. He mentioned squirrels, dogwood, laurel, hemlock. There's cat eye. I mean, that could be the mountain lion. There's a lot of keywords are popping out. I also found a black bear trail. And then there is a sequoia. Ooh, I just saw this. Look at that. What are you, little pickaxe guy? That's a quarry mine. Interesting. Definitely save waypoint on that one. We'll check that out. I definitely think that this is one of those instances where I've narrowed it to an area, and then I'm going to have to get a local paper trail map that's going to show everything, overlay it over what I, want to see as far as the other trails go, and then go from there. I want to show you guys the Unicoi Gap, or the Unicoi Trailhead. Unicoi Mountain Trail. So this Unicoi Mountain Trail is here. Again, Cherokee National Forest. And then we're all the way over here is where the Santila Lake is. And then we can connect it via, again, there's Laurel Branch Trail. Lots of keywords popping out. Where's the Benton McKay Trail? This is the John Muir National Recreational Trail that I mentioned earlier. Where did Benton McKay Trail go? What trail are you? Oh, that's it. Benton McKay Trail. Okay, so this is the Benton McKay Trail in North Carolina, where my marker is. And then our Santila Lake is up here. So we're following Benton McKay Trail. We've got a connection here. And then we've got Benton McKay Trail that goes all the way to the Unicoi Mountains. I think you're getting the point. I don't have it exactly all mapped out, but all roads lead to here as kind of a center point. So I would love to be able to tie the triangles that are on the map somehow, but again, I think that this is a good enough place to start. Obviously, it's probably really beautiful. You got a lot of mountains around a lake. That sounds pretty cool. You've got campgrounds. We've got a quarry mine. That sounds cool. We got a fishing pier. I'll catch me some fishes. So hopefully this is one of the places that I'm able to go boots on the ground once I get my boots on the ground fund back up and together. All right, so that wraps it up. I am going to call it an evening and mark that on my to-do list. I hope you guys found it useful, and don't forget to don't forget the wine's kicking in. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video, do all that stuff. It really helps the feed the algorithm goblins and get this video in front of other people, which if you think it was useful, you probably don't want. But I'm out here sharing the word, not gatekeeping, so you shouldn't do that either. All right, have a great day.